Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to today's conference on European universities. We will now start straight into our afternoon sessions. To start on our third panel about the future of advanced skills for societal transformation, I will pass the word to Rami and Enes.
Good afternoon and welcome back to our event on how European universities are pioneering transformation in education, research and innovation. My name is Rami Pennanen, a business administration student at Häme University of Applied Sciences in Finland.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Ines.
Yes.
Okay. I'm Ines. I'm studying creative business in the Netherlands, in NHL. I am Portuguese, though, and I think that might be why I was chosen. In the following panels, we will first listen to the strategic plans and experience of European universities on delivering future and advanced skills for societal transformation in collaboration with relevant stakeholders from business to society. Then we will discuss how the European universities will use a quadruple helix approach to drive regional innovation ecosystems and social, economic and cultural development of the European regions.
Nuno Rodrigues is the Vice President of the Polytechnic of Leiria, which is the coordinating institution of RUN-EU. RUN-EU stands for Regional University Network European University. And Mr. Rodrigues is will present the strategic plan and long-term vision of this alliance on the promotion of future and advanced skills. Mr. Rodrigues, stage is yours.
Thank you, Rami. Thank you, Ines. We have a Finnish student and a Portuguese student studying in the Netherlands, moderating a panel in a conference by the Portuguese presidency of the European Union. So we are really pioneering transformation. It is being a very interesting and inspiring conference, and it is a great privilege to be here on behalf of all our students and colleagues that have co-designed and are implementing our strategy. RUN-EU is Regional University Network European University, unites 8 universities from 6 different European countries, which have a common strong connection with their regions and a track record in teaching, learning, research and engagement with business and society. We have elected the delivery of the future and advanced skills for society transformation as the main overarching goal of our alliance, and I'm really happy to have the opportunity to present it here and share some experience with some of our colleagues from other European universities and stakeholders. As an European university, we have defined a common mission and long-term vision that commits us to fostering excellence and innovation in higher education, contributing to the development of the European education area and European research area. We are also committed to improving the competitiveness of our regions by attracting and retaining talent and by delivering the future and advanced skills necessary for students and regional stakeholders to meet the challenge in future industry, sustainable development, environment and climate change, aging population, and social inclusion. Our collaborative approach aims to secure the sustainable economic, social, cultural, and environmental progress of our regions and Europe. The provision of future and advanced skills not only ensures the success of our students, but also that they will be able to successfully engage in societal transformation and promote active citizenship. As the leading universities in our regions, we acknowledge that we as institutions, as a network, and more recently as a European university, have the role of being a true engine for regional development, fostering the European Union principles, including not only social and economic development, but also multiculturalism and inclusiveness. One of the cornerstones of our transformation plan is the use of massive and systematic mobility programs for academic staff and students. These missions target the design and implementation of flexible curricula and collaborative European degrees, powered by micro-credentials, a strong connection to research, and the clear recognition of learning periods in international universities, which will be paramount in the development of the skills of our students in an international and multicultural environment. We have already started implementing the RunEU unique educational platforms, including the Future and Advanced Skills Academies, one European Mobility Innovation Center, and 3 European Innovation Hubs. The Future and Advanced Skills Academies and the European Innovation Hubs are at the core of our pedagogical innovation and engagement strategies, which are the 2 main pillars in delivering the future and advanced skills. I will describe them now in more detail. Starting with the Future and Advanced Skills Academies, or FASA. The FASA unite our academic staff and researchers and support the pedagogical development of our universities, researching and embedding the current international innovations and best practices into the activities of our transnational curricular development teams. The FASA will also identify the cutting-edge areas needed for social development through the interaction with European Innovation Hubs, all of our regional stakeholders, and all of our 34 associated partners. But it will also collaborate with relevant European and national projects related with the study of labor market requirements, including the labor market relevance outcome by the OECD. FASA are currently responsible for the development and promotion of new pedagogical models, for the creation of innovative programs that will provide flexible learning experiences containing the most up-to-date knowledge and skills, but also for assessing the relevance, the quality, and the impact of our programs. The Future and Advanced Skills Academies operate both at the central inter-university level, pinpointing the collaborative and international co-creation processes between our universities, but they also work at an institutional level. We are creating now all the FASA in our universities, which we are embedding the innovative pedagogical approaches in our pipeline. The FASA will stimulate the development of innovative programs mainly at 2 levels. First, a set of collaborative short advanced programs in specific and an advanced area. These international joint short advanced programs act as the building blocks for the development of transdisciplinary curricula and are designed to meet the needs not only of full-time students, but also part-time students, as well as lifelong learners, delivering the much required reskilling and upskilling activities that we have heard so much about today. These short advanced programs will be developed together with business and society, but also with our research units, embedding learners in immersive cutting-edge research-based activities. FASA will also embed innovative pedagogical models into our collaborative European degrees, both at graduate and postgraduate levels, which will be created by using short advanced programs as the skills building blocks, thus providing students with flexible learning pathways adapted to their needs and their condition. We have now created 1 central FASA and 8 institutional FASA, which will deliver staff development programs and design thinking bootcamps using 120 mobility actions for staff. We will implement 80 international short and advanced programs using blended learning activities and short face-to-face periods of teaching, using more than 1,100 students' mobility activities and 160 academic staff mobilities. We are creating 24 double degrees and 3 joint degrees at bachelor, master, and PhD levels, using 152 staff mobilities for exploration, design, and teaching activities, and also granting 128 grants to students for student mobility and engaging in these programs. Besides the innovative pedagogical methodologies and the student-centered curricula, the second major part of our strategy for the delivery of future skills is the engagement with business and society and the strong links between teaching and researching. In RunEU, these will be at the core of the 3 future inter-regional European hubs, which will foster joint research and teaching activities at master and PhD level with industry and regional stakeholders. The 3 European Innovation Hubs will contribute to the strategy of the ERA hubs and will be focused on 3 main areas, fully aligned with the main transformation agendas by the European Commission. First European Innovation Hub in the area of future industry and sustainable regional development. A second hub in the area of bioeconomy, and the third hub in the area of social innovation. Based on a detailed audit of the existing regional innovation cluster activities and capacity, our systematic RunEU discovery program has identified the areas for cooperation and is now reinforcing the existing international cooperation between our research groups. These international future-looking research teams will be consolidated into the 3 European innovation hubs, which will have shared teams and infrastructures, focus on the creation and dissemination of cutting-edge knowledge in the identified areas. These independent and self-sustained European innovation hubs are at the core of our strategy for research, but also for future and advanced skills by providing rich, collaborative, and challenging environments for our full-time students, as well as our lifelong learners. We will implement immersive learning and research experiences in business and society partners that will be available also to our international students, that will share experience and learn by activities relevant to the smart specialization strategies and United Nations goals for sustainable development. The European Innovation Hubs will also contribute to the creation of a network of regional cooperation. This cooperation will go beyond the existing European Union and member state policies and will truly engage our regional stakeholders in an international and collaborative ecosystem that will actively contribute to the development of international and multicultural regional innovation strategies. To go one step forward in the delivery of future and advanced skills, we will implement the Renewplus project, recently approved in the Horizon 2020 Complementary Support Action Call. Renewplus stands for Professional Research Programs for Business and Society. The key innovation action is to develop a framework to support a new cohort of professional graduates skilled in research methods and approaches, developed and delivered in cooperation with business and society. We will take full-time students, but also professionals working on our companies, and deliver joint practice-based research programs at both master's and PhD level in association with the industry, business, and society stakeholders. We will increase the capacity of human capital engaged in research and innovation, also including the supervisors from the partners from business and society, equipping them with the necessary combination of pedagogical and research skills to successfully deliver these programs. The new research-based programs will transform the shop floor into our laboratories. The immersive work-based experiences will provide our full-time and lifelong students the future and advanced skills that are required to address real-world challenges. These skills will be developed with our partners, by students and lifelong learnings working at our partners. This means that we will have a seamless knowledge transfer process and that we will eliminate all the traditional obstacles to innovation. The graduates from our research degree programs will be the leaders of change and the enablers of social transformation within our regions and Europe. As a summary, we put our quadruple lyrics approach and the collaboration with business and society at the core of our pedagogical, but also our research, innovation, and engagement activities. Our focus on the provision of future and advanced skills activities will include not only full-time students, but also lifelong learning, reskilling, and upskilling, adapted to the requirements of the fast-changing future labor market, our knowledge economy, and all the changes that we have been discussing throughout this day. One important contribution is expected from our collaboration with OECD, our education policy team, which is an associated partner from Renew. The Labor Market Relevance and Outcomes Initiative is currently being developed in several of our countries. The output from this work will not only feed into educational development opportunities, but will also inform innovative and relevant programs, which will be adaptable to different regions of Europe. We will secure a long-term collaborative plan for our universities that will go well beyond the 3 years of this university project and foster international and interregional collaboration in government, business, culture, and society, creating an European Zone for Interregional Development, or EZID. Today is also a very special day for us, since this event will mark the signing of the agreement for the creation of EZID, another pillar in the strategy for the delivery of future and advanced skills of our regions and Europe. This is a challenging goal that we share with all the European Universities Alliance and all the stakeholders that have joined us in this conference today. We are thankful not only to all the universities that are together with us in this transformation path, but especially to our 34 associated partners that have taken the challenge, the joint challenge in these transformation goals of our regions, our universities, and the way that we deliver the future skills for our students. We are particularly thankful to all the colleagues in Renew and to all of our amazing students, as we have seen here today in the moderating panels that are working daily in this amazing transformation. Thank you all for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Rodrigues, for this presentation and your views and comments. That will also serve as debate starting point for our panel members. Each of our panelists has 5 minutes to make their statement, and I will give you 30-second warning before the end of your time.
Dean of the University of Barcelona in Spain, Mr. Joan Guàrdia Olmos. The University of Barcelona coordinates the Charm European University. Mr. Elias, first of all, thank you for your participation. As one of the 17 universities in the first call, what would you refer as the most important achievements of the charm.eu in the delivery of future skills to your students, and what would you consider to be the most challenging obstacles in the European universities in this field?
Opportunity to comment some aspects in relation to our netcon with the rest of the European universities, and I will start with a quick overview of how we are building CharmEU to set the context of my answer to those to the two more important aspects of your questions. First of all, the CharmEU partners are Trinity College in Dublin, Utrecht University, the Université de Montpellier, and finally Barcelona in Budapest. Our proposal was to design everything from scratch to fulfill the aims of the European Universities Initiative. Over the first year and a half, we have worked to design the governance and management model, the educational principles, the curricular framework and teaching and learning strategies, the embedded mobility structure, and the inclusivity plan to ensure accessibility. During the second year, we plan to launch a 90-credit master degree in global health challenges for sustainability as a proof of concept, not only to showcase curriculum design, competence framework, and challenge-driven methodology, but to pilot our governance model, the joint management structure across coordinated virtual office and each partner university, our balanced budget structure, and other aspects of our European university. This proof of concept will enable us to refine the model and scale it up to other programs at all levels: bachelor, master, and doctorate, obviously, lifelong learning, and also micro-credentials, following the strategic and growth plan that we will develop this year. The future skills have been, one, defined on the basis of the following educational principles: challenge-driven, research-based, research-led, sustainability, technology-enhanced, student-centered, situated learning, transversal skills, transdisciplinarity, transnational and intercultural learning, and finally, inclusivity. Second, developed in the master's degree that will start next September. The principles and each of the modules have been designed and developed in interdisciplinary and multicultural groups across all the partner universities, comprising academic staff from multiple disciplines, educationalists, experts in inclusivity, mobility experts, academic managers, and obviously students. Third, validated by a group of non-academic stakeholders, including business, non-governmental organizations, and civil society entities that will participate in the delivery of the master's degree, following the challenge-based approach. All this has been achieved in record time and in the context of the pandemic period, thanks to the efforts of our team and the collaboration and co-creation process with the respective quality agencies and governments. The accreditation process in 5 different universities in 5 different countries, each with different national rules, is one of the biggest challenges we have faced up to this point. One of the first and most tangible achievements is the enormous impact that a multicultural, transdisciplinary, challenge-driven learning environment can have on changing and enhancing skills, not only among current and future students, but also those of the academic and non-academic staff involved in the master's degree. Key success factors will be the strong transformational potential of the initiative and the long-term commitment supported by the highest authorities of our university. We are convinced that this transformational impact will be multiplied as we extend exposure to this learning environment to more and more people at our universities. The outcome will be the construction of a strong European university through which we as partners can better serve society by addressing the challenges that lie ahead. Our experience so far is that our achievements have been, or continue to be, the most challenging aspects of the journey. Our different cultures, language, management systems, rules, regulations, and national law are barriers that we must push back every day. This transformation requires a huge amount of time and energy from many key people at our institutions, where workloads are already high, very high, particularly with the ongoing pandemic, and momentum is hard to maintain. Success will depend not only on funding, which falls short of the sums required for an initiative of this scale, but also on global commitment at regional, national, and especially European level. We will only achieve our results if we work together and have the necessary resources and mechanisms in place. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you very much for your participation and congratulations on the achievements of the Charm European University.
We would now like to listen to Manuel Demacio from Lusófona University in Portugal. Manuel Demacio is the coordinator of FILM.eu European University, the European University Alliance for Film and Media Arts. Mr. Demacio, how would you characterize the role of European universities in the delivery of future skills in the field of arts and in the development of European values and culture?
Good afternoon, everyone. And first of all, thank you very much for the invitation to be here. So I'm here in the quality of coordinator of FILMEU. So FILMEU brings together 4 higher education institutions in the field of the arts. I think we are one of the smallest alliances. This also has to do a little bit with the fact that we are one of the alliances that is quite focused on a specific area of education and research, and that is film and media arts and the creative and cultural industries in a broader sense. The 4 institutions that integrate the alliance are Lusófona University from Lisbon, Portugal, SCFE, the University of Theatre and Film Arts in Budapest, in Hungary, Lucas School of Arts from Brussels, Belgium, and then Leiria Institute of Art and Design and Technology, EIDT, from Dublin in Ireland. These 4 institutions have worked together for more than a decade in delivering joint education, namely under the so-called Erasmus Mundus joint master degrees. And I would say that one of the first aspects that we bring, that the European universities offer us, and it was one of the main reasons why we decided to embark in this journey, is that the European universities can help institutions at an European level to develop common degrees under the label of the so-called European degrees. In our view, these European degrees are central to the development of education in Europe in many areas, namely in the arts, because they will allow for the sharing of both human physical resources, but also they will increase the competitiveness of European higher education institutions. This is particularly complex in an area such as film, where education is extremely expensive and where we have a number of very competitive institutions at international level, coming namely from the US, from Australia, and more recently from China. So there is, I would say that one of the first key benefits of this initiative is the possibility of supporting European higher education institutions in increasing their international competitiveness. The second aspect I would like to highlight is how we view this sector and the importance European universities can have in creating linkages between different areas of education, culture, and research in Europe. In our particular case, the fact that the body inside the European Union that manages this program also integrates the support to the audiovisual industry is of core importance. As I'm sure you all know, there is a specific program in Europe called Media Program that for many years has supported the film and audiovisual industry. For us, it is of high importance that students and institutions in this field are in very close contact with the industry and with the main stakeholders in Europe, across Europe in this field. And the European universities give us that opportunity by allowing us to create a structure of campuses scattered throughout Europe that all deal with different aspects and different domains inside the very broad area of the creative and cultural industries. And we are sure, and that's one of our missions, that by bringing together competencies that are nowadays scattered in different countries across Europe, that will allow us to also contribute to innovation, contribute to a stronger European industry, and in the end, contribute to the resilience of European cultural heritage. Because I think it's relevant to say that film is probably one of the most important forms of cultural heritage Europe has. It's one that clearly exemplifies the inclusiveness and the diversification of European heritage. And one of our objectives is to bring that heritage into the educational sector and to develop in our students a sense of what Europe as a whole, as a common cultural heritage represents. So we think that the initiative, the European Universities Initiative, will also contribute to a better understanding of a common European heritage, but also to a better understand of the differences that in the end are what unite the different European countries. So I would say that that broad, almost philosophical objective is core to the initiative, and it's also core to our project. Similarly to the universities that were already presented, we also strive for common degrees. We also strive to embed mobility in our programs, but we have a very specific agenda around artistic research. The specific funding that was acquired by the Alliance under H2020 will deal with the transformation of these institutions as dual institutions that incorporate artistic research in their activity. For us, that is the core aspect of the mission of the university, because artistic research is still, let's say, fighting for its place in the research arena in Europe. And we think that the Alliance will have a core role in merging the so-called STEM agenda with the new highly needed STEAM agenda. Last but not least, one of the things that we consider to be extremely important is the relevance the Alliance will give to entrepreneurship education in the field of the arts and the creative industries. That's something that is closely aligned with the objectives of the European Union. For some reason, the next kick will be a kick on the creative and cultural industries. So we think that these industries are at the center of the recovery of a post-COVID Europe, and we want FILMEU to be a core participant in that process. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Demacio, for your statement representing FILMEU Alliance. I hope you got to say everything you had, but we were running out of time. So, Ines.
Now, we'd like to give voice to António Cunha, President of the Regional Coordination and Development Commission for the North region of Portugal. Mr. Mr. Cunha, could you share your experience and comments on the importance of the European universities in the delivery for the competitiveness and the development of events, and specifically the Portuguese?
Hello, good morning. I think I understood, or good afternoon. I think I understood your question, although it was cut here and there. But so thank you very much for this invitation. I'm pleased to be with you, and I'd like to start by congratulating Nuno Rodrigues for his presentation, vision, and ambition in this, and the approach that he shared with us in the initial presentation. Of course, we are in a context of in a challenging context when we speak about skills, a context that is challenging both for individuals and for institutions and organizations, and for organizations that work in education, but also for organizations, for all the type of organizations that have human resources as a critical element of their structure and activity. And of course, we are speaking of industrial companies, other business companies, and of course also public institutions, as human resources are more and more critical in all these aspects. Furthermore, we are in a well-known challenging period of our societies, once we are performing at least two transformations, the so-called digital transformation, but also the environmental and climate transformation that in a certain way puts even in a more critical way the humans in the center, and human resources in the center of all the activities of society. Yes, digital transformation, mainly in the industry, gives a reinforced importance to the human factor once, and of course in a very simplistic approach, once ordinary simple tasks will be performed by robots or other types of machines, and humans will more and more be used for complex, critical, and creative tasks. And so we perhaps will have less people in this organization in relative terms, but we will have people with critical tasks. Of course, also environment and also advances of science, namely in life science, also requires from humans, from all of us, and from the education that they receive, reinforced and stronger basis in ethics, and how ethics should be used in our ordinary life as our societies became complex. A further element in this complex context is time, because time is becoming shorter once digital transformation also accelerates this process. And education, training, development of skills requires time. And this is perhaps the main challenge for educational organizations, universities, technological universities, and all the other types of new education institutions that will appear based on electronic platforms and other types of hybrid approaches to learning and to offer training in different contexts. So the challenges are known. There is a very interesting book from Howard Gardner from 2008, 5 Minds for the Future, that is still has a very interesting approach to these challenges. Listing the five main skills that young people should acquire in our education institutes, and I would like to pick up the one of the synthesis capacity, the capacities of making synthesis from knowledge that is spread, is shared in these institutions. Of course, we have also to find ways to
30 seconds. Sorry to interrupt.
Yes, please. Please.
You have 30
we have
seconds.
also to find ways to get the right balance between knowledge and know-how, and this has been through the even through the 20th century a challenge, and of course is even more a challenge today. Of course, there is no unique recipe to solve this complex equation. One thing is certain, and I think is what we are celebrating today, and why is this conference about. Of course, one way that should be explored is networking between different types of institutions, education institutions, entrepreneurs, companies, and of course institutions related to the management of the territory and of the political governance. So this is the way that will require both a comprehensive approach to understand the complexity that is involved in this, but also should include a very, very detailed approach to be able to answer to specific answers that in the end of the day is what the institutions, the companies, the public institutions, the hospitals, all the type of institutions that people is going to work, they are required for solving their daily problems. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cunha.
You are not listening.
Yeah. Sorry, my mic.
Okay, now okay.
Well, yes, finally. Well, let's keep the debate focused on Portugal, but we can travel to the Centro region. Eduardo Anselmo Castro, Vice President of the Regional Coordination and Development Commission for the Centro region of Portugal. Mr. Castro, what's your perspective on importance of European universities in delivery of future and advanced skills for competitiveness and development of European regions, and specifically Portuguese Centre region?
Good afternoon, everybody. First, in terms of supplying skills for the society, for Central region in particular, I can say that you can have two ways of looking at it. The first is the demand side. Skills or the courses or what we offer is what the students want, or what the economy, local or regional or national economy demands. There is a problem with this, and in Portugal, to approve any new course, it's necessary to prove that they provide employment, but they provided employment in the past. When the student enters a course, considering the time necessary to finish the course, and we don't want the person to be obsolete after 1 year, means that you should look at the future. Employment and the use of the skills in the future, not in the past, not now. This is a big problem. So, and what about the supply side? So we can provide the courses which the staff likes to teach. It's not the best idea, or what the region needs. What is needed for the development of the region? This is not necessarily the same as the solution coming from the demand side. So we have to make the balance. And in the particular case of Portugal, I like to give the example of the football teams. We don't have money. You cannot afford to buy the big stars of football because they are too expensive. So the secret of the Portuguese teams is they have their own formation. They make their own team, their own footballers, and later on they sell them because they cannot afford to buy the good ones. In terms of our market, skills market is more or less the same. We cannot compete with the salaries provided by a firm in Netherlands or in Finland or whatever. So we have to use more the skills which are formed locally, because these people, even if they emigrate, their propensity to emigrate is much less than the propensity of Finns, Dutch, and so on to come to Portugal to work with our salaries. So it's very important that you provide the skills necessary for the future of the country, and in particular for the future of the Central region. Another question is, what kind of skills? Many people used to say that we don't know the future, so you cannot make forecasts for the necessary skills, so we provide general skills and then the market decides. For some skills, I agree with that. We need ICT skills, no doubt. Computing skills, no doubt. We need medicine and perhaps biology and biosciences and so on. But many other things depend on what we want. Not on the forecast, but what do we want for the future? What is the plan, for example, of the Central region? What do we want to be good at in 2030? And if you make this idea that we want to catch up with the more advanced economic advanced societies in Northern Europe, you cannot be good in everything. You have to decide we want to be good in 2030 in this, and this. What are the skills necessary for this? In addition to the general skills which any university teaches, and don't forget that university is named universal, is not a training course. It's not providing training courses. It's providing general skills. But general, there are nuances. Can be very general or can be adapted to the needs of the regions. For example, computing, artificial intelligence, the robots and so on are going to free a lot of work. So what we need, of course, scientific work. Scientists in biology, computing and so on, but not only this. I think something which will have a great value in the future is social contacts, is contacting with people, is providing culture, entertainment, or assistance to elderly people, for example. These are skills which will provide jobs with great value in the future. How can we provide these skills? So my proposal is that we should look at the future of the region, and this in particular, or any region or country, what are the things where you want to be good at, and then to try to provide this. Of course, for a network of universities, what is necessary is to make a joint supply, or to think of cooperation in these general skills and not in the particular skills of a particular region. But I think...
Sorry to interrupt, but 30 seconds to go.
Okay, I was finishing. But I'm speaking less than many people before. So I think it's necessary to combine these general skills with the other skills which will make the future of the regions and the countries. This is my point.
Thank you very much, Mr. Castro. I can tell that here in Häme we have the same kind of difficulties as you probably have in central Portugal.
Let's move on to the Netherlands now. I would like to introduce, hopefully I say the name correctly, Hans-Paul van der Snee, Director of Innovation Pact Fryslân, a collaboration between the province of Fryslân, higher and applied education organizations, and industry. How does Innovation Pact Fryslân sees its partnership with this initiative and the role of European universities in the delivery of future and advanced skills to strengthen regional innovation processes and competitiveness?
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks a lot to the organization for inviting me. I'm pleased with the opportunity to give this contribution, and I like to give my vision on your question in 3 points. Specific on why and how this collaboration can support our region, from my perspective as Director of the Regional Economic Board. The 3 points are outside-in strategy, global challenges, local solution, global changes, and claim your future. But first, I like to give some short basics about our region. Our region is one of the happiest and healthiest in the world. We are a rural area, 650,000 inhabitants, and we're below sea level, as you maybe know. But we're also part of a quite competitive economy. Next to that point of happy and healthy, our regional domestic product is below the Dutch average. So we're often on the low part of the rankings. And that's the interesting part. There's a paradox, because we say on the other end we're happy, healthy, and on the other we have we're on the low side of the red race economy. And we embraced it. So we embraced the concept of broad prosperity. And from my perspective as an economic board, there's the question of how we can keep the balance between the economy, the society, and the biosphere. What's our strategy with our economy here in the Netherlands? In that concept, we have as a society 3 missions. Living with water, becoming circular, and you have things like redevelop change, redesign products, find new energy solutions, but also change societal behavior. On the other hand, we talk about connected rural society, how to be open to the rest of the world, to be inclusive, and also, of course, be happy and healthy. That's a short basics about our region. So back to the question, why and how the RUN network can strengthen our region. First, the outside in strategy. And it's like Mr. Castro already said, when you want to increase your earning powers as a region, you have to choose where you can make a difference and build up world-class quality. Because when you choose, you will be chosen. And you will part of a network what can help to increase your earning powers, which is enough to keep your broad prosperity strategy. This is not only wishful thinking and market thinking, what's going on, and we put all kind of money on a team. Now you have to look what the strengths of your region are in your businesses, in your knowledge, skills, etc. And of course fits in the missions. When you know what your strengths are, you also know what you need from others. And when I look at the RUN network, I see interesting things in Austria for our building industry. I see interesting things about 3D technology in Portugal, etc., etc. All parties have parts where they can make a difference. It's quite important, the outside-in strategy, because we want to claim it by ourselves in the whole, but that's not the truth. You have to work outside with an outside-in strategy. The other point, global challenges, local solution, global changes. We're globally stuck in the system. all the tsunamis of COVID, societal challenges, climate challenges are building up, and we know it. And we cannot solve it on a global level in the free market. It doesn't work, and we know it. So we have to look at the regional scale. But when we find solutions in our regional scale, we have to combine it with other regions. So we call it globalization. And that's one of the interesting parts. We have all kinds of living labs here in Fryslân about soil, about inclusiveness, all kinds of living labs. And we find solutions here. And we want to exchange it with all kinds of solutions in your region. So I think RUN has a really important role in that, to build up our living lab strategy. The third one is claim your future. Again, we're stuck in the system where we know where we're now working and living in. We're all 5 people with suits, and I'm also a little bit gray. And we build our strategies in that system. So we have to give space to the youth. And when I look to the RUN network, I really want to have critical friends from Ireland, from Portugal, from Austria, every partner in this network. And I want to give them also space to experiment in our region. So we find new solutions. Show us new business models. So our startup system has to cooperate in international collaborations. And of course, show us the new perspective. So the RUN network can really help us to create that kind of spaces. So with this
Once
3
again,
points I want
sorry
to
to interrupt.
emphasize
30 seconds to go.
that we need these kind of networks. We really want to help to build it up as an economic board. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you very much about your perspective. Your mic is off.
And again, my mic was off. Thank you to all our panelists for your expertise on these topics. And for a while, we should probably take it back to Aine. Are you ready?
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to our moderators there, Rami and Ennis, and to our panelists for such an insightful discussion. We will now go to a 15-minute recess, and we will be back at 16:30 CET time. Thank you so much.